And of course, I start with a cough. Great, wonderful. Always the consummate professional. And the magic machine tells me that I'm live. And so I trust that I'm live. Wow. What a statement on my humanity. Trusting the machine that I'm live. Yo, man, take a look at your whole game, man. You're trusting the machine that you're alive. You're alive, man. You don't need a machine to tell you that you're alive. I just also want to take a quick note. Apparently, like the latest thing in underground culture is the embrace of esoteric Eastern Orthodox Hermeticism, or like monasticism amongst stoner rockers. And I just want to say, just because it's like cool and it's like dun, 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 and it like comes from Al Cisneros or whatever from Sleep, it's still Christian rock. You know what I mean? And if there's a great interview by the guy that was like the original guitarist for Sleep, who went and became the whole Orthodox monk, and I'm gonna do like a play-by-play of that interview probably on my main channel, because people really, I want to really demystify this whole, because every once in a while religion gets really cool, and we really need, like, because I went through the whole Krishna core thing, and like I just want to always like remind these people, like, watch out when religion becomes cool, because like religion is religion. And like I watched a really like seemingly ruthless guy with impunity today, like on this interview with this guy from Sleep, say, or this former guy from Sleep say, this young guy say like, oh yeah, like he'll like listen to Striper because it's like of God. And I'm like, you're listening to Striper. And the guy from Sleep, the former guy from Sleep, I know he was like in Sleep like in like 88. Like I know it was like 10 million years ago, but still, like he just listened to a straight youthful guy just admit to listening to Striper, and just like basically just like took it on the chin. And didn't say anything, no pushback. I'm kidding. I love Striper. I'm down with the black and yellow attack. Not because I'm saved by the Lord, because I'm not. Um, I'll do, that's not here. That's not for here. What is for here is to discuss with you the fact that, isn't it great? I think great, these amazing, big, huge plans and ideas. And it's going to be tough because I am not big on follow through. So, which is going to be interesting for this show, because, or this whole idea, because the whole kind of premise, one of the whole kind of, there's a couple of things going on. I threw that non sequitur out there. I'll just let it go. We say hello to Jilly Beans, who says, "Quick drive by to say hi. I appreciate the quick hi. I'll take what I." And I will also point out for the record, this is another one. The first participant in the live chat, legitimate live action female. I swear to God, it no joke. Jilly Beans confirmed, actual female. Well, how you may ask, CW Chanter, how do we get women to appear in our live chat as a solo RPG YouTube channel? Well, it's very simple. Do not start off as a solo RPG YouTube channel. If you start off as a solo YouTube RPG channel, the likelihood of starting off your live streams with actual female participation is cliche. Listen, cliches. Asian female disabled, half African American drivers are excellent drivers. That was a Howie Mandel joke. It was not a Howie Mandel joke. It was a Barry Sobel joke that I blamed on Howie Mandel. And we say hello to Tim Frey. Speaking of jokes, I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, I just insulted you live on the internet. Okay, Tim, God bless you. You may be saying to yourself, "Hey, CW, how do I get flaming homosexuals to participate in my live chat?" It's very simple. I'm Tim. I love you. Come on. And then someone will try and cancel me over that joke, but you can't because I'm orientation queer. Literally, literally, you cannot cancel me. Ha 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 ha! You fucking can't. You cannot. And you can try and sue me over it. I will sue you back. I will. I'm immortal at this point. I figured it out. I figured out nothing. 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 But what I have figured out is this. In a world where Donald Trump was president, I died on the operating table. This is all some Jacob's ladder kind of purgatory. I didn't lead a terrible life, obviously. I didn't win any awards. That much is clear. Okay. Second of all, I'm not going to talk about Joe the lawyer and his boyfriends versus Ben Questing Beast misconstruing a New York Times article. The New York Times sucks. They've sucked for 20 years, easy. And 20 years ago, they were half a joke. They have a recent article that I haven't read because why would I? There's been nothing worth reading in the New York Times. Whatever. Apparently, there was a recent article that says there's a DM, a 5e DM shortage in New York City. Heaven forfend. Newsworthy, apparently. There's a 5e DM shortage, and a guy called Questing Beast commented upon this, who's apparently a younger man, and apparently this is a problem. I don't know. Look, I mean, all these people have YouTube channels, and it goes into basically what it is this. This guy called Questing Beast is a huge YouTube channel. Who has the right to talk for the OSR, the old school Renaissance, the old school revival? Who has the right to speak for as an old school D&D DM? Who has the right to speak with authority about the state of RPGs? Not me. Wait, why not me? Because I don't play with guys and gals on the regular? Gals. You. Lots of girls play RPGs. Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They do. Sure, absolutely. 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 There's a ton of women in the military as well. There are. I'm also a gambling man. And I like statistics and probabilities. So anyway, listen. Anyway, I like to also like. Apparently, I'm also being combative today, folks. Listen to look. If you tune into my videos, depending on which video you get, I'm this, I'm that. I'm like Prince Michael Jackson. I'm all over the place. I'm Prince Michael Jackson Madonna. You never know what you're gonna get. Honestly, I might switch before your very eyes. I'm like Zartan. I swear to God, I'm gonna chameleon change right before your very eyes if I get scared. I might go pink. I told you I'm orientation queer and I wasn't lying. Listen, we'll get to the meat and potatoes of the video. 10 minutes in, we'll do this. So, what was I talking about? Who has the right to speak for the OSR? Who has the right to speak for old school D&D? No one. No true Scotsman. Who has the right? No one. Who has the take on it? Everyone has opinions. A person comes out and speaks about an article. They get it right, they get it wrong. I think there's a 5e DM shortage. What causes it? What caused it? What are the mechanics involved? Nobody knows. This younger man, Questing Beast, came out with a video about it. He's got hundreds of thousands and almost millions of tons of subscribers. And so then these three older gentlemen with, I guess, a history of blogging about the old school Renaissance and years of DMing old school D&D, they had their a longer form video. I'm just I watched both videos and I say none of these people had anything scientific or anything to share other than empirical observations. And I was gonna have a live stream about it and just comment specifically about that in order to get the views. I knew that if I commented at a live stream saying, Joe the lawyer and Bob Connolly versus and Tankard versus Questing Beast, that I would be able to get views. I didn't. I took the high road. Great. But I'm still talking about it. So for the RPG fans that finally do watch this video and who are aware of the lame ass milk toast, white bread dipped in water, left out in the sun to dry, and then crumbling in the wind lameness of talk about whoa, this is what passes for if Questing Beast responds, it'll be official clapback. Woo! Oh my, oh me. What heat. None of the response video by these bloggers was, they didn't talk about anything that Questing Beast talked about. They talked about around the subject. It was an interesting video in the sense that the most interesting thing about the video I found was the fact that there were so many sports analogies that there were times where if you didn't know that you were listening to guys talk about D&D, there were times where I swear to God, you could like tune it on and think that you were just listening to old times East Coast sports radio. There were times, I swear to God, where it was like extended durations of the referees out there. What call can they make? There's not even a call for them to make. Why? Because of the way that the modern game is structured. And I'm sitting there going, that is this conversation that could have happened on sports radio, on a call-in on sports radio today about the NFL, about, you know what I mean, about basketball, about baseball for sure, like any day, like tomorrow, today, yesterday, the day before. It was great. But you know what I mean? But they weren't talking about anything really that Questing Beast had talked about, Ben from Questing Beast had talked about. But I think all these people were just talking about their personal opinions, about their empirical observations about, and I think their personal invested feelings about, I don't know. Everyone's got feelings. I think that people's general feelings usually tend to revolve around and get absorbed into how much energy are, they getting on, the internet versus, maybe someone else, and, whether or not that's justified, and whether or not there's like, whether or not people who have informed or ill-informed opinions, are getting too much energy because of, look, life's not fair. The guy with the most information about the first generation D&D, the guy who's been playing first edition D&D since 1975, right? How long have you been playing D&D? Bill Stuchek? I've actually been playing D&D since 1975. Bill Stuchek, get the fuck out of town. I'm going to kick your fucking ass. You motherfucker. You come into my virtual fantastic brain, my hypothetical imaginary space, and you start telling this bullshit. No, I'm telling you the truth. My name is Bill Stuchek. I'm an imaginary person in your brain, but I've been playing D&D since 1975. Bill, how old are you? I am 57 years old. The story checks out. He's 10 years older than me. Wait, the story check doesn't check out. If you're 10 years older than me, you have to be older than that. You're 62. Now I got you. You fucking fuck. I got you, Bill Stuchek. You 62-year-old fucker. You weren't in Vietnam. You weren't in Vietnam, but you're 62. Got you, fuck. Why the fuck were you playing? That's early, Bill. You fucking fuck. There's a lot of fucks pretending that they were at Woodstock, and I think you're one of these shitbags pretending that you're a first generation D&D player. Shit fuck. Find out you're lying. Guess what's happening? Tiamat on the astral plane. In the mouth. Trigger warning. Tiamat mouth too late. I'm kidding. It's a metaphor for ice cream. There's no trigger warning necessary. I was kidding. But mouth, what? Let me just tell people I'm streaming. Fuck you playing 1975 D&D. No, I swear to God. Don't lay up Tiamat. I swear to God, I was playing since 1975 when I was a young man. Why? You tell me. There was a small independent hobby shop. They found one. They had one of the original copies of the game. One of the first. I swear to God, I was there. My older brother and a cousin. They had it, and we've been playing ever since. We endlessly photocopied. We have a fifth generation photocopy. We actually transcribed the original rule set several times and typeset. We actually home ruled it several times over. We've been having private jokes about it, whether or not we're playing actually the first version or is it actually a different game at this point. Don't kill me and lay off Tiamat. Okay, Bill Suchek, you don't have to die in my dreams. We say hello to Rogue Status. Welcome to my nightmare. Actually, it's Bill Suchek's nightmare, and he's in my brain. If you're tuning in late, there's a logical explanation for everything's happening. Anyhow, Bill Studacek is going to have his personal recollections of what it was like to play. But you hear what he said. You heard what Bill Studacek said about they homeschooled. They had to home rule their own version of the rules. No, everyone who bought a fucking box set of 1974 to 1975 to 1976 to 77 to 78, 79, whatever, all these people who never had the fucking internet, think about all these people who bought a copy of D&D and went out. Think about all these boxes of D&D who went out and looked at this shit, was like, this fucking sucks. I don't fuck. What is this? How many kids got a copy of D&D was like, fuck this. I don't know what the fuck is this fucking game grandma bought. I don't know what the fuck this shit is. I don't want to play this with you, Dad. No. Or like, we're like, this is fucking awesome, but this is like, what? Or how many clubs out there got it? We're like, this is fucking awesome, but this doesn't work. Or how many independent people were like, this doesn't work, so we're going to solve the problem of this not working by solving it this way or that way. And then the other thing people people started playing Dungeons and Dragons in 1974, and that everyone who played Dungeons and Dragons in 1974 like kept on playing Dungeons and Dragons. The vast majority of people who ever played Dungeons and Dragons in their life stopped playing at some point. And the majority of people that are involved in the old school Renaissance are not people who played Dungeons and Dragons at one point. It is a rarity. I know the people who there are a couple of people. I think that I think it's a rarity of people who their continuation of their life in gaming was, I started gaming when I was a kid and I kept on gaming all the way fucking through. I think for the majority of people, it was like, I gamed as a kid and then at some point I fucking rediscovered that like cleaning out shit. And I was like, oh, fucking this is like, or you get kicked out of your house, your fucking wife leaves you. Well, this fucking shit, you rediscover some shit. Or you come back into it, or there's like ebbs and flows or whatever. But some people act as though like people like in the old school are like have been here, like whatever. I don't know. The whole thing is retarded. The whole thing is a crazy, silly, wonderfully pointless conversation about nothing. Rogue Status, how you doing? It was a brief aside conversation about a nonsensical, almost online debate between one YouTuber named Questing Beast and a whole bunch of other YouTubers or online bloggers, old school OSR bloggers, regarding whether or not Questing Beast is on point or off point regarding the reasons and rationales for why they're is or isn't a shortage of 5 EDMs in New York City or worldwide. And my take on it is they all were the article was stupid. It was ridiculous. I mean, like the fact that New York Times is able to publish articles like this, and so I think there's going to be an op-ed article. I think there's going to be an op-ed article by a sociologist because the sociological problems and errors with the article that were then doubled down on by Questing Beast, that were then ignored by the grognards, who just had their own conversation primarily based on the fact that the grognards don't like the fact that people are listening to Questing Beast for opinions about OSR, what about the OSR, when they don't necessarily think that Questing Beast knows what he's talking about. FY, and in case you're curious, I don't think these guys know who Questing Beast is, what Questing Beast has done, what Questing Beast's stances or statuses in the OSR. He wrote fucking Knave. You guys are talking about this guy, Ben, like he's a fucking douche. This guy is not a fucking douche in the neighborhood. He is not considered a fucking douche in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? It's going to be hysterical if he claps back. If he claps back, it's going to be hysterical because I guarantee you that guy Joe the lawyer is gonna snap at it. Is gonna snap if he claps back. He just seems like the type. Anyhow, it is what I'm and I had the class not to put it in my title, just to splurg about it in the intro as I do. In the meantime, on with the show. Are you not entertained? Rogue Status apparently is entertained. I also see that you changed your avatar. A little bit of the 22-year nostalgia loop with a little Boondock Saints action, I think, happening there. Coming back home to the home space, to our RPG space, to our RPG home space. One of the problems, these big ideas that I have, the Court of Tarot through Morkborg, the various vast explorations of the micro chapbook RPG realms that we set up along the ways. The extended I'm trying to build off that. I'm trying not to get too far afield on the Troika fighting fantasy thing. We're gonna see where we're going with this. These ideas get kicked up. Ethereal. We say hello to Ethereal. Thank you. Thank you for joining the live chat, Ethereal. We also say hello to Stephanie Jackson. And I say hello, and I also, no offense, I hate to do this to RPG Land, but I say to RPG Land, kiss my fucking ass. I've got not one, but 1, 2, Rogue Status makes 3 females in my live chat. Rogue Status, he loves you, baby. Okay. It's all part of Steve Jackson fighting fantasy. Oh! 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 Hey, it's not even Friday night over here. It's Thursday. It's University of Southern Paramus weekend starts on Thursday. Here we go. Stephanie Jackson, thank you for joining the show. Jilly Beans was first in the live chat, received the gold medal. Tim Frey, silver medal onto thee. If I did not award it officially, Rogue Status, you get the bronze. And that would mean that Stephanie Jackson got the honorable mention. No medal, but honorable mention. Ethereal gets the high hard one. My apologies to Ethereal. We have these grand ideas, and we don't always have the opportunity. I want to see them through these eternal journeys, but maybe it's just that the purpose of the video is to shoot out the idea. And maybe we won't have the journey come to a conclusion, but we'll have the beginnings of the journey out there to know what the central idea was. And maybe we'll come back to these ideas. But when the exciting idea comes and the exciting idea happens, I want to go with it. I want to go with the energy. Stephanie Jackson asks, have you ever played Warhammer? You're going to have to clarify. Are you speaking about Warhammer Fantasy RPG? Or are we speaking about Warhammer, the miniatures game? Or are we speaking, if we're speaking of Warhammer, the miniatures game, or we're speaking about Warhammer Fantasy miniatures? We speak about Warhammer Age of Sigmar. We speak about Warhammer 40K. You know what I mean? We gotta talk. But we will talk. Our latest journeys, we were speaking about wrapping in 80s nostalgia, the 80s nostalgia loop, this game Troika and its revitalization and reinvestigation of the classic rules from Fighting Fantasy. We were exploiting those similarities, those actual identical nature of those rules, looking at them and looking at exploiting them. And talking about most recently, looking at the Troika rule set and the standard reference document and generating Troika characters to run through the Fighting Fantasy game books. These Fighting Fantasy game books that were very popular in the 80s had a very simplistic role-playing game style character generation and combat system that has been taken by this new role-playing game system, this science fantasy game system called Troika, to be utilized as their central basis. So piggybacking off of that, kind of reverse engineering that, saying that, okay, then let's take the character generation techniques of Troika, and because the mechanics of the game are similar and because the character generation is essentially the same, let's see if we can take these characters and put them into the Fighting Fantasy game books. And we've been finding that more or less we can do it. Stephanie Jackson, Warhammer 40K. Do not collect the miniatures. Have had the central core rule books. Understand the mechanics of the game. Never got into collecting the miniatures primarily because of a knowledge of this is the part of why I wanted to avoid collecting things like figures. I fell into it, obviously, and this is part of the problem. This will, Stevie, you've triggered a side conversation, but I'll allow it because she's faking her social media. She fakes her social media from start to finish. That appears to be an accurate photo, folks. So I'm going to follow this lead. Yes, because she looks like Stephanie Jackson and not like Rogue Status's other avatar that he looked like before he chose to use Boondock Saints, which did look like Rogue Status, which did not look like Stephanie Jackson. Stephanie Jackson, I apologize. I'm giving everyone the business today. Listen, Stephanie, Warhammer 40K. Love the lore. Huge fan of the Black Library and have been a fan of years. First discovered Warhammer 40K when I knew Dragon Magazine. They used to have advertisements for that. So knew about the universe, knew about it. Fell back into Warhammer and the lore of Warhammer around 2005, 2000, and somewhere between 2005, 2006. I fell back into it, really fell right back into it with the lore in the library. I always knew about it. Then got the core. I think started getting the rule books. Started collecting the rule books. I think I got like a codex or one or two codexes used or something, and then started buying the books and was really primarily into the lore. always checking out when YouTube became a thing. Remember, YouTube didn't start until 2005, and I didn't start watching YouTube because it didn't really become really viable for me as a thing to watch until 2000 and like 6 or 7, when I got like a job where it was a cool enough internet hookup where it was good enough. Where I started watching battle reports and stuff, where I was, got more into the hobby and stuff. But that's that. So that's an aside. Anyway, back to fighting fantasy. But it's interesting that you should say that, and this is probably to the point. I don't know if you know this. Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, the guys that started the Fighting Fantasy franchise, are the guys that started Games Workshop, where Warhammer 40K started from. They're also the guys that started the international distribution in Europe and England of D&D. And that's where they got their start with role-playing games and fighting fantasy. Stephanie Jackson says, I will donate Warhammer figures to you if you want them. I will never use them. I will take them. If you want to donate Warhammer figures to me, I will take them, though I will be honest, and I will have to say this morally and ethically. I have to say this morally and ethically. If you were going to donate, there are better people to donate than to me, because I have. But if you were going to donate and were willing to donate to me, I would love to receive. Because I would love to receive. But the number one, I don't deserve, because I am an animal. And there are people that do deserve, but I would tell you this, is that if you did donate to me and there were things for multiple armies that I didn't need, I would pass them along. But here's the other thing I would tell you this about, speaking about Warhammer 40K. This is another thing that I would say is that when we were speaking about miniatures, and we were speaking about miniatures for RPGs and visualization, I was talking about when I don't think I would ever get into Warhammer 40K, but when I was speaking about I thought about for a while, I thought about building a Warhammer army. For a while, I was obsessed with the idea of putting together a Warhammer army with Mega Constructs guys from Halo. I thought it would be a pretty easy operation to put together a pretty well suited unit with Halo guys, because they have they've got mecha guys, like they've got guys in big armor that I thought could work as like Terminators, and they certainly have guys that could work as like power armor, Terminator armor. So, you get like a couple of Terminator units, you got your HQ unit, get this guy's like a powered up Necron, what do you know? Anywho, here's Stevie Jackson continues. You should do that. Warhammer fans would love that, and you could probably make good bank since it is so niche. Anyway, it is so niche, but we have to watch out. Other thing I'll tell you this is that I will say this. Here, let me do this so that my notifications will start blowing up, because I know these cats. Warhammer, actually, the company, Games Workshop, who are now not associated with Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone, they became notorious for going after YouTube content creators and crushing them. So that's actually not a viable field. And there is no way to make bank in niche. On YouTube, niche equals nada, unless your niche is, I take my clothes off for people on OnlyFans. And my YouTube is an entree onto my OnlyFans. And my niche is, are you into one-armed, one-eyed purple people eaters with, fart fetishes? Oh, yeah? Well, have I got the thing for you? And I know you got nowhere else to go, so it's $1,000 a pop, a poot. Where else you gonna go? Nowhere, right? I got you. It's Felicity or nothing, right? Only game in town until the internet. Now you got like 3 choices. Anyway, we're not Stephanie, I love you, but I love you, baby. But now the conversation, that's as much. We're not going to go into nuance, and that's basically what they do. Is copyright. You showed a Space Marines. Space Marines are copyright. We're taking you down. Honestly, if you want to, Stephanie, I love you, baby. If you want to, go ahead and go ahead and Games Workshop versus small YouTubers. There are people who have researched it, lived it. Their channels were taken down. They've gone through it. And besides, at this point in my life, at 47 years old, I'm not going to all of a sudden start doing that because we're too busy doing this. But thank you. And anything you want to send, people know how to find me. They send me shit all the time. Anywho, our adventures with the fighting fantasy system and the Troika systems continues. But I had this idea. And I thought to myself, Ben, fight this idea because you need another idea like you need a hole in the head. I said, but this idea is so good. I said, this idea is so good and this idea is so great. This is going to be the idea. And I said, well, kiddo, here's the problem. I said, your entire point is you're almost coming up and saying, hey, folks, I know we have this idea. And then I pause that idea and I say, I know we had this big idea with this whole Morkborg, the court of the tarot through the thing and the da. But we're going to pause that for just a second as I explore this briefly, this fighting fantasy and Troika thing. But we're going to come back to the Morkborg. But then I say to you, another big thing idea. I said, now we've got 3 changes in. This is going to be, I said, but this idea, this is either going to work or it's not going to work. And this might be a fantasy because this is one of my, this to me, sometimes I have these ideas that are a little bit, it's not what I call a get rich quick theory, but it's this kind of, part of my obsession with the William S. Burroughs cut up technique, I think has this idea. When I first heard about the cut up technique, one of my first things that occurred to me was this notion of, wait, you mean you could make books and publish them with not really doing anything? And people were like, the books are not going to be really good and people are not going to really like them. I'm like, well, but somebody would like them. I mean, you get a reputation with somebody, and people were like, but it'd be more trouble than it's worth. You better off just learning how to write, kid. Just learn how to write. They would always say, when I discovered the cut up technique, believe you me, there was an older guy, an older, mentor people. They were like, look, the cut ups with the music, even in the music, they were like, look. They were like, everyone discovers the cut ups and you spend 24 hours in your room with the fucking sampler and the computer and the and all the experimental noise and all the shit. And at the end of the day, it's, do you want to listen to any of this crap, or is any of this stuff readable? William S. Burroughs can talk about cut ups. People will read, Dubliners by James Joyce like once a year. There are very few people that come back and say, I read this work by William S. Burroughs like every year. Like a lot of people have read Naked Lunch in their life and have said, reading Naked Lunch was not necessarily important, but, that they're glad that they did it. That was like an experience, like they, confronted that work and they, they hadn't, that was good that they now know about Naked Lunch and that they read that work and that they have that under their belt, that they, for better or for worse, that they know what that confrontation was. But, E. Cummings and a lot of experimental poetry and stuff, a lot of people come away from that stuff and be like, there's no point. A lot of people come away from experimental works and say, the point of experimental works is You did the experiment, and that experiment was a fucking failure, right? Einstein on the beach. Bad experiment. Let's not do that experiment again. Why are you running that experiment again? Philip Glass and Buddy. I liked Einstein on the beach, but what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? And then some people say I like Einstein on the beach because I'm a follower. I just like arpeggios, but whatever. Anywho, it's all part of my Philip Glass fantasy. Man, Philip Glass fantasy. That's abstract. Woo. Scene. Nicolas Cage in 8mm, but what he's describing to that creepy Eastern European guy is not a snuff film or a hardcore S&M film, but rather I forget what I was describing. What fantasy? Wasn't a Steve Jackson fantasy. Anywho, we're moving on. It's a James Joyce fantasy. What the heck was it? William Burroughs fantasy? It wasn't a me fantasy. Lost in the Ether. You know what because what it was that my mental energy started going into saying up to Nicolas Cage. Philip Glass, thank you. Philip Glass. Because I started getting into the two women. But now I don't know how to do it. Because I don't know how to get to. Okay. So you want to make a movie? You want to come here and make a movie with me? How do I know you just don't want to steal my secret hot sauce? I've seen you. I've seen your work. I've got an idea, and I think you're the man to do it. It's Philip Glass. He's there playing the piano. Slowly at first, then fast, like Philip Glass does. Arpeggios, 3 notes, over and over again, very much like Philip Glass. Faster then, faster. Yes, like Philip Glass, I know. And then what happens? Does someone get shot? And no, he just keeps on playing. 3 notes over and over again. Over, cascading. Gently depressing on the sustain pedal. Deeper and deeper. Hypnotic trance-like state transforming him as the audience just seems to stand there, unawares that anything is happening. I'm familiar with the work of Philip Glass. And scene. Okay. Hey, the mistake with Nicolas Cage impersonations is everyone goes for the scream. So the idea was, this is the $1 million idea. Oh, and as per the terms of the UN Convention of Modification Rules of 1972, it is illegal to mention Philip Glass without also mentioning that he is related to noted NPR broadcaster Ira Glass. You cannot mention Philip Glass without mentioning that he is related to Ira Glass. It's the law. 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 It's Philip fucking Glass. Anywho, so here was this idea that I had. So check this out. So we're looking at the terms of the terms. Call this a contract. So the SRD, the standard reference dealio for Troika, the alleged role-playing game, reads as follows. in bed. Terms. Anyone may publish free or commercial material based upon and or declaring compatibility with Troika, ! Without express written permission from the publisher, the Smithsonian Arts Council, as long as they adhere to the following terms. If your product declares compatibility with Troika! You must state the following in your legal text and on any websites from which a commercial product is sold. Product named is an independent production by publisher name and is not affiliated with the Smithsonian Arts Council. The Smithsonian Arts Council takes no responsibility for any legal claims against your product. The mechanics and concepts of Troika may be reused freely. Well, the mechanics and concepts of Troika, no offense. I mean, for the exception of the very, very experimental and unique initiative and inventory systems, the mechanics and concepts of Troika are Final Fantasy, our fighting fantasy. I keep on calling it Final Fantasy, which is great. I love it. All artists maintain copyright of their work. That's great. I think that's them and us. It's great. So the minute I was reading that, I was like, check this out. I was like, so this is going back to my story about when I first heard about the cut-up technique. I was like, let's take. It's not as big as it seems because this is all. It's one page, because I'm putting on one page. I was like, let's take the Troika SRD and because we used to, on my other channels, we used to do the William S. Burroughs cut-ups and we were having so much fun. My channels, I go back and forth. I set things to private. I set things to public. I go back and forth. It's a muddle. And in my description box below is everything. I've got links to everything except my main channel because I have a love-hate relationship with my main channel, which is a dumpster fire, which is where all the cut-ups happen, and the cut-up videos are now almost all privatized because no reason. They were just one day, every once in a while, I'll just take all my videos and just put them to private because it's just what I do. And so I thought to myself, I said, look at those terms. I said to myself, going back to my old school technique of being like, oh, wow, cut-up technique is a methodology for doing no work. I said, well, this is not going to be, you can't do no work. But I said, so here was the thing. I said, well, you could run the whole goddamn SRD through a cut-up generator and see if you got anything useful. I said, well, that would probably be problematic. I said, the cut-up generators that I use are all web-based. I said, it would probably break the internet. I mean, it would probably just crash the HTML or whatever. I said, but if you did it like paragraph by paragraph, I said, we could take the SRD from Troika and we could take it paragraph by paragraph, section by section. We could cut it up. And then we could re-edit the cut up into something useful or try to re-edit into something useful. And then if we just kept on doing that section by section at the end, we would have a whole rewritten role-playing game. That would be, by definition, in theory, compatible with Troika, and in theory, by the opening terms of Smithsonian Art Institute's own verbiage, completely copacetic with them. And I thought this would be great because we could do this and we would have a way to have a regular, content, But this is one of those big ideas. I'm talking about, hey, I have a problem, doing these big ideas. And talk about a big idea. We're talking about writing a role-playing game together. So the first thing was proof of concept. Would it technically work? I took a portion of the SRD, I highlighted it, I made an extra copy of the SRD, the PDF, so that I wouldn't, ruin it or whatever. Then I copied a section, I put it into the cut-up generator, and it worked. It would copy and paste the text from the PDF into the cut-up generator, and I can save it to a Word document. Now, I think there's certain things. So here's let me show you what I got here so far. Here we go. Let me share screen. No. So I've got here's my copy for edit, Troika SRD. And then I got a title here, Close to the Edge It, a restatement of Troika via cut up. Oh man, talk about things that'll have like one paragraph and then we'll never come back to it. Ooh-wee. Ah, geez. How long do you think we'll stick with this idea? Oh man, how long do you think we'll stick with this idea? Let's see. So look, let me do this. Let's start with here. So here's the thing. So do we want to do we it's all about, and then here I got this, and then here's our cut up, here's our thing. Here's our thing that we use. Chrome tab. And then here's our mixing desk. Here's the Lazarus Corporation that we use for our cut ups. And then here's the cut up generator. It has a cut up generator that this is how it cuts up the words. After every 6 words, it'll make a cut, but you can set up the frequency between 1 and 12 words. Okay, so we could do 2d6, and then the echo chamber, how many words it repeats, it does between 1 and 5. So we could do a 1d6 for the echo chamber. And we could do on or off for the echo chamber. So we could do a 1d, we could do a 1d2, like a 1 to 3 on a 1d6. We'll turn the echo chamber on, 4 through 6. We turn it off. And then that's our, hold on. And that's our cut up generator. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide together where we want to start, whether or not we want to start with, and we want it to eventually. So, and what we're going to do is, I am going to tell you that we want it to, at the end, we're going to want to create, I'm going to create another Word document too, because I'm going to want to create 2 save files, because I'm going to want to create a save file that's the pure cut up. And then I'm going to want to save a file that's edited, that's like massaged. And what I mean by that is this. When we put the text through the cut up generator, the first output is going to be raw, mixed up, cut up, nonsensical word salad with some bits and pieces of making sense coming through. We're going to take that and we're going to try and make it make sense. We're going to edit it. We're not going to do a pure cut up. Pure William Burroughs, see the future through the cut up, is you take the cut up as is, you look at it as a magician, and you try and see if the future comes through. Look, there's all sorts of ways to look at these cut up techniques, as a prompt to come up with new ways of thinking of things, breaking language, to come up with new ways of word combinations or new story ideas as a way of prompting creative thinking. And there's some people like William Burroughs who thought it was a magical technique, that when you cut into the present, a little bit of the future seeps out, that you could literally see the future, that it was an act and a technique of divination. So there's some people who think that by taking this Troika rule set, and we could take other things and mix it in. Now, remember, it says we can't do it verbatim. We're not going to do it verbatim, because we're going to take it, we're going to cut it up. If we just cut it up, we would be coming up with, we could cut it up and then come up with something else and say, hey, guys, you said don't do it verbatim. This is not verbatim. And this would go right back to my talk about a lazy way to make an RPG. Hey, here's a free, what did CW teach you in this video? I just taught you how to make an RPG. You take any of these guys that say, hey, this SRD, this OSR rule set that I give you can be utilized by you for free, just give me credit, whatever. Take any of those things, throw them through a cut up generator and say, it's an experimental remix, take on it. And then publish it on DriveThruRPG, put it on Amazon, and charge $5.99 for it. Experimental cut up RPG. It's a thing. Now, it's going to suck and no one will be able to play it. But if you then went back and massaged it, well, then again, we're going to see if it's going to work or not. Let's see. Now, I did we're going to see, and we're going to try and make it work. So when we do a massage of it, when we edit it, we're going to try and make it work. It's going to be hard. It's not going to read like a normal RPG, obviously, and we're not going to overthink it. We're going to try and get it through. Cut it up raw one, make it make sense too. Got it. Rogue stats. That's why I love rogue stats. Rogue stats like move, go, got it, do it. Do we want to start with the terms? Or do we want to start with, see, but here's the other thing I think I'm going to do. I'm going to, like, the rules, like when it gets to the rules of character creation, like when we do the cut up, like I'll do the whole cut up, but then I'll just put the rules in again. Like I'll just put them in again. Like, so the rules appear normally and then they'll be like, blah, blah, blah. So we'll see how we'll do it. Let's see how it goes. And we'll see if it works. We'll just kind of get through. Let's see if we get anything good off the terms, and let's see if we get anything good off of the first issue of the rules. I think that'll be an okay thing considering we're already an hour in. Let's see if we get anything off of that. Terms. Anyone may publish free or commercial material based upon and if your product, see all that. So I don't know if I want to do that stuff because this is all like legalese. Let's see this. Terms. Copy. And I go to my thing just to put terms. Okay. Go back here. Now I'm going to do, I want to do it by paragraph because I want to make it really, really, really finite. Like I want to make it really, really fine. So I just made a copy of the first paragraph. Anyone may publish free or commercial material based upon and or declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the publisher and the Smithsonian Arts Council, as long as they adhere to the following terms. I'm just taking that. Okay. And then I'm going to take that and I just put it into, hold on. Oh, I got to do it this one. How do I do that? Can I do that? Can I share it? Can I share it? How do I do that? I don't know how to share that. How do I don't know how to share that thing. Hold on. Let me do that. This. Screen share is canceled. Do this. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to roll a two-sided die. I'm going to roll 2d6 because the cut up generator can go from between 1 and 12 words. This is how many after how many words it's going to cut up. So I roll 2d6, I get 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait, no. 7, 8. That's 10. So that's a lot of words. So that's wait. Let's see what happens. And then I'm going to roll 1d6 to figure out if we're going to turn the echo chamber on or off. 1 to 3, it's on. 4 to 6, it's off. 5, it's off, which is fine by me. So I'm going to start the mix. An error occurred. Oh, man. Maybe if I stop sharing, let me try it again. Hold on. Of course. We're back in the high life. It was 10 words, right? 10 words. Echo chamber was off. Start the mix. Here we go. Maybe it's I can't share the screen at the same time that I'm doing it. Here's what we got. Declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the anyone may publish free or commercial material based upon and or publisher, the Smithsonian Arts Council, as long as they adhere. Okay, so let's okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna copy it. It was the heat of the douchebag telling me but dot dot dot. Terms paste. Okay. We can do this. It won't be easy, but I think we can do something with this. Hold on, let's say here we go. Present, share screen, window. Close the there we go. Here we go. Declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the anyone may publish free or commercial material based upon and or publisher the Smithsonian Arts Council as long as they adhere. So we got something good that happens, and then there's a break. Declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the anyone. I like that. Up to there, it works. Declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the anyone may, and then it's like there should be something here. So it's like there's two separate things here. Declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the anyone may result in something. Okay, may result in nothing at all occurring. And again, someone may publish free or commercial material based upon and or based upon the Smithsonian Arts Council as long as they adhere. What? I don't know. Wait, no. Really that? Declaring compatibility with Troika without express written permission from the anyone may result in nothing at all occurring. Then again, someone may publish free or commercial material based upon the Smithsonian Arts Council. I like that. Okay, so that works upon the Smithsonian Arts Council. Okay, so we're off to the races. Save. Boom. Period at the end of the sentence. Oh no, wait. Period at the end of the sentence. Arts Council. Boom. See? We're already off to the races. Paragraph 1. And I didn't need to do shit. And I don't know why the window went blank. I don't know if that happens because I edited it something or what happened, but I noticed that all of a sudden the window was black. Okay, so then let me go back to Troika. Okay, then it goes. The next thing says, if your product declares compatibility with Troika, you must state the following in your legal text and on any websites from which a commercial product is sold. Product name is an independent production by publisher name and is not affiliated with the Smithsonian Arts Council. Okay, let's put that to the thing. And pretty soon we'll have to stop because it's an hour long. We're already like an hour into it, so we'll have to see what will happen when we start putting things in like the rules. But like I said, we're allowed to put the rules set in again because number one, David Sales, or what's his name, Daniel Sell, he didn't create the rules for Troika. Really, they're from Fighting Fantasy, and you can't copyright game mechanics apparently. So like that's part of the issue. That's like we'll figure it out. I don't think he's gonna sue anyone anyway because I think he sounds like a cool guy, and I think he'd be down with this cut up technique anyway. I think this is fly anyway. Save that, copy, boom. Let's do this. And so for each of these paragraphs we put in, we're going to do a different roll of the dice for the cut up. Okay. So but put the paste in the text in, and I'm just going to share the screen just so you can. Oh no, wait, hold on. I keep going back and forth between all these different things. Token study. Can we include a G.G. Allen RPG? Is that called My Life? This may turn out to be an RPG. This might turn out to be the G.G. Allen RPG. Remember, when you reach your peak, it's time to die. Tolkien study, our peak. Someone's in the corner with Daddy. Someone's in the corner, I know. Someone's in the corner with Daddy. Losers with the old banjo. Here we go. So, cut up generator can do up to 12 words. So we're going to do the 2d6. Oh, prostitution. I also want to shout out a YouTube channel called Questwise. Questwise has moved on to a little bit of gunpla meditation, but they had a several video series on advanced fighting fantasy and expanding the fighting fantasy game system as well, using their own techniques. I'm going to provide a link to one of their videos about it that was very good. Questwise. Chubby little fat guy. Not little fat guy, huge man. Kick my ass. 7. Okay. Echo chamber. We roll 1d6. 1 through 3, echo chamber on. 4 through 6, echo chamber off. 6, echo chamber is on. Off. Sorry. Got excited there for a second. Okay, and I'm going to stop sharing the screen because I think that seems to do the thing. Okay. And we've got our thing, and I'll do it, and I'll put it into the Word document. Copy. Go. Okay, let's read it together. Let's see what's sharing the screen. See if it's working. That's working. Okay. Okay. You must state the following if your product declares compatibility with Troika, which a commercial product is sold, product name, and is not affiliated with the legal text, and on any websites from name is an independent production by publisher. Okay. So let's clean it up to make it work. You must state the following in your product. Oh, we do this. You must state the following in your product. In your product. If your product declares compatibility with Troika. You must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with Troika, which a commercial product is so. Well, I got to be careful there because we don't want to make statements that are like statements for them. It says okay, so we say this. We can change it by saying this. It is not for us to say that you must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with Troika, which a commercial product is. What I want to take that with Wait, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Hold on, hold on. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Perfect. 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 We'll have to do. We'll do. Find and replace. I just get nervous because I'm nervous that we're gonna forget to do it. C T T C T T E C T T E A R O T V C U. What is this? Close to the edge. It a restatement of Troika via uh, oh, boom, doom. So we have to do. We're gonna have to do find and replace, and then we'll just at the end of the day, we'll just say that it's compatible with Troika. But by taking out any word that we see, because we don't want to make it sound like we don't want to end up inadvertently making statements that we're making statements for Troika. Do you know what I mean? That would be like that would be inadvertently fucking up. You know what I'm saying? That would seem problematic. Listen, I don't want to hear that. I don't think that. So Tolkien says, "I told Mike Hideous I saw him in New Jersey at a Sam Goody again, not in a British accent though, which is a perfect accent." I was like, "Sorry, Mike, you have to sign up for a subscription, and they're 99 cents. Please come in back at the store. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. If I don't see you." So Tolkien Study is making a joke about like a literally like a psychotic. I'm not going to call you out by name, but I thought that was a psychotic thing that when you did that. I knew how upset you were with me when you made that when you did that. You owe me a significant and a serious apology for that when you did that. And I really think that that apology would go to the level of actually calling up Mike Hideous and being like, when I called you and made that was actually Ben's story. This guy Ben from New Jersey that you actually knew. But I'm not that worried or fucked up about the story because but I mean, you got to know. I mean, like it was a crazy thing, and like you're joking about it. I don't think it was funny at all. I thought it was a crazy thing. But I know that I've already let it go. I've kind of already kind of let it go. And when I thought about like kind of bringing it up and like as I've thought about like when you showed up again in the live chat, I thought about like kind of going off about it or bringing it up and being like, this is fucked up, or you're in the live chat again, or like whatever. And then I thought, well, dude, you, meaning me, have already kind of let it go and said, like, well, fuck it and whatever. So it is what it is. But just so you know, like, I don't think that was a normative response. And so, like, when people gave you feedback and said, like, that they thought that things were off, like that was like the level of things, like that was like not normative, that was like over the top. If it wasn't done in bad faith, that's like how scary that is. Like if you're telling me that it wasn't done in bad faith, that's even scarier. So I'll tell people like no, I won't. I'll just tell you. I'll just say that if you think that I really hope that there's a plethora of people and new people in your lives, like a turnover of new people in your life continuously that can provide you with a continuous amount. And I wish this for you as I wish this for myself because I need this, right? You're no idiot. Whatever I'm saying about how I feel about what you did, do you know what I mean? And I know you were upset. You were obviously upset with me. You were obviously very angry with me. Um, I've done angry shit. I've lashed out at people in anger. I've done fucked up shit. You know what I mean? But that was like a real that was like a real I thought it was a real fucked up thing to do. But it is what it is. But we're moving on. I'm moving on with my life. And you should too. And we'll just forget it. We'll just forget it. But it is what it is. But I wouldn't joke about it now. But just so you know, I wouldn't bring it up again. We're not coochie crunch about it. It's not a cool thing. I wouldn't joke about it. And if I ever hear about you calling him up again or whatever, it would be a real problem. And I would share. I do sincerely hope, honestly. And if this sounds like a fuck you, it's not meant to be. There are qualified mental health professionals in my life, and I hope the same for you. Because young man, there's whatever is going on, there's something going on. And I'm saying that as someone who needs people in my life to give me feedback, because the way I look at the world and put together the world with this noggin of mine ain't always the best way to put together the world. And I'm telling you, Tiger, the way you put together the world doesn't always seem to be the way. I don't like the way you put together the world. I didn't like the way you put together the world on that one. If you're telling me that you thought that was a funny joke or a funny way to think, if you put that together as ha ha ha, I'm telling you, you put together something that really, really, really pissed off somebody else. If you think that you make me if you thought it would make me think it was funny and make me laugh, you don't know me, kid. But that's okay. Not knowing me or misunderstanding someone or misunderstanding social cues or misunderstanding personal persons, we make errors. We move on. We move on. So it's not for us to say that you must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with blah, which so we did that part. Which a commercial product is sold, product name, and is not affiliated with the legal text and on any websites from name, and is an independent production by publisher. I'm wondering if we don't always need everything. It is not for us to say that you must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with this. Oh, how about this? Okay, because you're saying this up. We're saying this. It says, it is not for us to say that you must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with this. And it's not for us to say that. Okay, you wouldn't need to say following. Product name is not affiliated with the legal text and this one I love. This legalese action I love. And or any websites from where's that little bracket? Wait, product name is not affiliated with the legal text and or any website from product name. I'm gonna put another and or because why not? And or Then we'll do another one. We'll just do another bracket and bracket. Because why not? Cagney and Lacey, bracket and bracket. Product. Name. This is what we're doing here now. We're in Fantasyland. We're essentially saying here is over and over again. We're like talking about double negative. This is like legalese quantum physics. This is like Schrodinger's executive cat. No one knows what's going on here. Watch this. Product name is not affiliated with the legal text and or any websites from product name and or product name is an independent production by publisher. Brilliant. Brilliant. Right? Watch this. It is not for us to say that you must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with this. Product name is not affiliated with the legal text and or any websites from product name and or product name is an independent production by publisher name not to be supplied and or unknown. Or we could do product name is not affiliated with the legal text and or any websites from product name and or product name and is an independent production by. Or we could put this and then put say it's an independent production by and then just have it said everything's wrap it everything so that if you do it's not for us to say that. It's not for us to say that. And then if we do this, watch this. By it is an independent production by. Watch this. Watch this. No, I'm making sure that my screen hasn't gone black. You with me so far? Oh no! We'll think about that. Listen, it is not for us to say that you must state the following in your product if your product declares compatibility with close to the edge at a restatement of Troika via cut-up. Product name is not affiliated with the legal text and or any websites from product name and or product name is an independent production by publisher name to be supplied and or unknown and or close to the edge of a restatement of Troika via cut up itself. So it's not for us to say, but it's entirely possible that your product was created by this product itself. But we're not saying that. But maybe we are. Save. And it would continue this way. So the theory is, I'm closing this because, hold on, wait. I've been here for an hour and 23 minutes. I'm done. This is like the devil writing a K contract for Robert Johnson. Look, what are we going to get? Because we haven't even gotten to the rules. So the theory is that as we keep on going down, we might very well get stuff that's usable. When we get to the character creation rules, the character creation rules are demarcated in 6 numbered steps. I'm going to do the cut up on each step individually. And next to each cut up, we're going to have the actual rule. So we'll probably do like a blah, 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 and then it'll be and or roll ID 3 plus 3 to determine skill. So that it'll just, you know what I mean? So we'll just maintain it. Now, will there be a part 2? Will there be a part 3 to this video, a part 4, a part 5? There will have to be an endless number of videos. But when we get to the spells, look, we could do those as shorts. If we do the cut-ups as each individual section, as each individual thing, we could do this in short order. I might not do each individual thing. I might come to you. I'm not going to do it at all with you in real time, but this is something that also we might want to take to Twitch. This might be the thing that we do on a Twitch stream because it'll give itself to a longer stream. So it is what it is. Acid Death Fantasy, we still have the main Troika rule book that I love, that I'm loving, and this art. Oh, a picture tells 1,000 stories, and I am happy that I got the hard copy. I thought, you have the SRD, what's the point? I had the SRD. I found a good scan PDF of the art. I wanted the hard copy, and I'm glad I have it. We also say hello to Jonaside. Says Nate, finally some Blueberry Wolfbridge. Unfortunately, we're cutting off. And we also have Renee, Miss Jonaside, the better Jonaside, the better Miss Jonaside. I thought it's come to me. Lawyer, Genie, the Fae, Trickster. Say no more. Ethereal says, it is a tongue and or brain and or thought twister. Lol. It twists them all. A card before we go. A card from 1994 from the Osho Zen Tarot. 10 years after Fighting Fantasy rule book from 1984. 20-year, 25, 30-year nostalgia loop. Find them, follow them. You'll see that they ring true, especially in this RPG space. We'll be following the 20-year and 25 and 30-year nostalgia loops through these for sure and for real. Well, do you think, what's the over-under? Are you gamblers out there? Will we be able to complete an actual RPG through this technique? Will you take this technique and do it yourself? Remember, there's a lot of open source RPGs out there that you can do this with. Create your own rule set. Let's make more. And let's have a card for today's stream. The Dream. Now, here's what's great about this card. This is the 6 of Cups, right? And anyone who's familiar with the standard Rider-Waite deck knows that this is a cup of puppy love, of youthful nostalgia. It's a cup of love, It's a card of love, but it's youthful love, and it's that it might be a wishful love. It might be a conception of love that's too innocent, too young. Presented here is the dream. Beware of conceptions and fantasies. Ground ourselves. And maybe we need to take this as a reminder to say, hey, remember what we said at the beginning. Even if we don't get and complete this whole idea and see it through to the end, we have this video with the idea. We have this video with the suggestion that the technique can be done. And we have this video and throwing it out there to say to the kids, hey, out there, kid in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, who just lost your job as a barista, how are you going to pay for your bong weed or whatever? Throw Troika through the cut-up generator and have yourself a ball. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. You might find yourself writing the next world's greatest RPG with a little bit of hard work and effort. Who knows? But you got to get yourself grounded. It's not going to be just running it through the computer, putting the right prompts through the AI generator and having them produce the great piece of work for you. Oh, and by the way, when the machines get that good that they can do that for you, they're going to be that good that they're going to be doing it for everybody. And therefore, what you're going to be able to do with it, it's not going to be that great potatoes. So you're going to have to do something even better. So it's always going to be a little bit tougher. There's always going to be a struggle to life. It's never going to be just the dream. The dream is Davy Jones posters on the wall when we're kids, but as we get older, we need to look for something with a little bit more substance. So maybe we take a little bit more length on the nose, if that means a little bit more intelligence up here. Maybe not a picture perfect model, but oh man, can she take care of the kids, including the biggest baby in the room, you? Some things to think about on a Thursday night. I love you. I love you. I love you. If nobody told you they loved you today, somebody just did that. Somebody is me. Call me Cable Guy Incognito. Call me CW Chanter. Call me your ever well wisher. I warn against religion. I think technique and practice trumps dogma and organization. So I do simple things. I say chant every day. It's a good form of meditation that I find works for me. It might work for you. You can try it. Read spiritual text every day. Increases. It's always good to read. Reading is good. Reading is fundamental. Good exercise for the brain. Expose yourself to some other information out there. Okay? I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'll see you on the next one. Okay? May the cut ups continue.